It's time for some bedtime stories from Wood Library. Right, Bernard? Are you ready? Let's get started with one called Baa-Choo. This is written by Sarah Weeks with pictures by Jane Manning. And it's published by Harper Collins. "I've got a cold," said Sam the lamb. "I'm going to sneeze, indeed I am." His little nose twitched and wiggled and itched. Ba-ah. No chew. "I've got the ah, but not the chew. No, the sneeze will never do. Can someone help me please, to find the ending of my sneeze?" "I'll tickle your nose with a feather, and then I'm sure you'll sneeze," said Gwen the hen. So she tickled his nose, and Sam said, "Here goes. Ba, ah, no chew." "Gee," said Sam, "that didn't feel right. It felt almost, but then not quite. Can someone help me please, to find the ending of my sneeze?" Well, Sig the pig said, "I have a plan. We'll sprinkle some pepper in front of this fan. Sam, stand over there and stick out your nose and sniff wherever the pepper blows." So Sam sniffed and snorted and snuffed, huffed and puffed with his nose all stuffed. The pepper went flying. Sam kept trying. Ba, ah, no chew. "Gee," said Sam, "this isn't much fun. Why can't this sneeze be over and done? Can someone help me please, to find the ending of my sneeze?" Franny Nanny Goat came by and said that she would like to try. "I'll kick up dust," and so she did, with a little bit of help from her little kid. Well, the dust was thick. Sam started to wheeze, and then at last he started to sneeze. This time it was bigger and louder and longer. Instead of stopping, it just got stronger. "Quick, everyone, do whatever you can." So Gwen grabbed her feather and Sig turned on his fan. Together they tickled and sprinkled and kicked to make the big sneeze grow. Then someone cried, look out, I think he's going to blow." Then Sam the lamb let out a sneeze that raised the roof and shook the trees. Believe me when I say it's true, no lamb has sneezed a louder chew. "Oh, thank you, friends," said Sam the lamb, "for coming to the rescue." Sam heard them say from far away, "You're welcome, Sam, and bless you." So what did he say? Ba-ah-choo. Well, I don't know that Sam would jump on the bed. Do you think sheep would? But I know who else would. Monkeys. I've got 5 little monkeys that are jumping on the bed. One fell off and he bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor. The doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So 4 little monkeys are jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So that means 3 little monkeys are jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So 1 little monkey is jumping on the bed. When she fell off, she bumped her head. So mama called the doctor. The doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." I don't see any monkeys, so I think it must be time for another story. This is called Miss Hazeltine's Home for Shy and Fearful Cats. It's written by Alicia Potter and illustrated by Birgitta Siff. And this book is published by Alfred A. Knopf. Now, when Miss Hazeltine opened her home for shy and fearful cats, why, she didn't know if anyone would come. But come they did. He runs from mice. She's scared of birds. Can't pounce. Won't purr. Hopeless. Worthless. Afraid of everything. Strays who could read Miss Hazeltine's sign skittered in on their own. And then, why then there was Crumb, the most timid of all. He dashed through the door and hid. Can you see him? Under the rug. Well, Miss Hazeltine began her lessons at once. In the morning, she taught bird basics. In the afternoon, climbing up, followed by climbing down. And at night, it was scary noises. Many cats received extra help in meeting new friends. Miss Hazeltine showed the cats how to hold their tails high and to arch their backs and to think good thoughts. And every day, they practiced pouncing. And the hardest lesson, how not to fear the broom. Now, Miss Hazeltine didn't mind if some cats only watched. She let them be, like Crumb, under the bed. Miss Hazeltine told him that sometimes she got scared. Why, I'm afraid of mushrooms and owls, she confided, and I never liked the dark. She praised Crumb's love of pitch black places. Crumb lapped up every word, and one day he hoped to find the courage to thank her. Still, he worried. Would he ever be brave? Well, soon more cats came to Miss Hazeltine's home, and more, and more. So many arrived that on a Monday at 5 o'clock, when everyone but Crumb was fast asleep, Miss Hazeltine ran out of milk. "Oh, I'm off to fetch a bucketful," she told Crumb, "and we'll be back before dark." Crumb watched her go. Excuse me. But by the time Miss Hazeltine rounded the road back home, the sun had set. The heavy buckets sloshed and slowed her, and her ankles were wibbly-wobbly from all the pouncing practice so Miss Hazeltine tripped and fell into a ditch. Now, with her ankles sore and throbbing, Miss Hazeltine was stuck. She shivered in the dark, the pitch black dark. Was that an owl hooting? She peered around. Were those mushrooms? Miss Hazeltine tried to think good thoughts. And back home, the cats did the same. But they were alone and very, very afraid. They didn't know where Miss Hazeltine had gone. And they hadn't had the lesson on what to do when the lady you love goes missing. But Crumb knew where Miss Hazeltine had gone. And maybe, just maybe, he knew what to do. Crumb stepped into the moonlight. He arched his back. He held his tail high. He gathered the others, and armed with nothing but an old broom, wherever that is, the residents of Miss Hazeltine's house, home for shy and fearful cats, streamed into the night. And down in the ditch, Miss Hazeltine groaned. What will happen to the cat, she whispered, and dear, dear Crumb. Yet something was happening. The cats felt it in their chests, and with Crumb at the fore, they followed the sweet smell of milk down the road, right to Miss Hazeltine. And at Crumb's meow, the cats stared down the mushrooms, and they purred to drown out the owl's hoots, and then they pounced to make sure that nothing was lurking in the dark. And then they formed a chain of cats to rescue Miss Hazeltine from the ditch. The broom made an excellent crutch. Miss Hazeltine was escorted back to the home for shy and, well, pretty brave if you ask us cats, as the strays amended the sign. You are as bold as lions, Miss Hazeltine told her rescuers, and whether you stay forever or head out into the world, I will never, ever forget your courage. The cats were so happy that they didn't even miss their milk, especially Crumb, who had found a new favorite spot. I like it that they rescued her. Shall we do a finger play again? We're ready to shake? Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. And can you clap, clap, clap your crazies out? Clap, clap, clap your crazies out. Clap, clap, clap your crazies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out? Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out. Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out and wiggle your waggles away. Do you want to stand up? Because it's a lot easier to jump, jump, jump your jiggles out. Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out. Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you yawn? Oh. Yawn your sleepies out. Yawn. Oh, oh, oh. Yawn your sleepies out. Yawn. Oh. Yawn your sleepies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. Well, I hope you've had supper, because we're going to have a story about, well, maybe one of your favorite foods. Sort of. This is called Stone Pizza. It's written by Susan K. Mitchell with illustrations by McNevin Hayes. Stone Pizza? And it's published by the RGU Group. I've heard of cooking pizza on a stone, but making it out of a stone? Well, Coyote's belly rumbled louder than a pickup truck as he wandered beside the highway. He hadn't eaten in days. Summer brush fires and a long drought had made food scarce on this stretch of the road, and the local critters were especially suspicious of strangers. Everywhere Coyote walked, animals scurried into their burrows or scampered away. Looks like hospitality is going to be as hard to find as food, thought Coyote. But luckily, Coyote was as clever as he was hungry. So he stopped to rest for a spell and came up with a plan. And then he heard Horned Toad snoring loudly on a big flat stone. Psst! Pardon me, partner, Coyote said, waking up the sleeping lizard. Do you know where a fellow might get a bite to eat? Sorry, stranger, said Horned Toad. Around here, food is harder to find than a flea on a June bug. And then Horned Toad scurried off into the scrub brush. Thought Coyote. Looks like these folks need to learn how to make stone pizza. So he picked up the stone that Horned Toad had been sitting on, and he licked his chops as he gathered tumbleweeds to make a fire. Coyote placed the stone on top as he blew on the flames, and then he danced and sang, "Stone pizza, what a treat, I can hardly wait to eat." Coyote said in his loudest voice. He made such a ruckus that critters began to peek out of their hiding places. Now Horned Toad crawled out for a closer look. "What are you up to, mister?" he asked. "Making stone pizza," Coyote replied. "The most lip-smacking pizza you ever tasted." "Looks like a plain old stone to me," said Horned Toad. "Think so, do ya?" said Coyote. Horned Toad rolled his eyes and crawled back into the shade to watch, but soon other critters came around for a closer look. Of course, a mouth-watering pizza like this would be much better with some flour, Coyote continued. Raccoon sniffed the stone and replied, "Well, I found a half a bag of flour in the garbage. I'll let you use it if I can share in that pizza." "Stale old flour from a trash can, Bandit?" mumbled Horned Toad. "Blah!" "It's a deal," Coyote said, and Raccoon hurried off to fetch the flour. Now, when Raccoon returned, Coyote added water and kneaded that flour into dough. He flattened it out and gave it a toss in the air and then patted it down on the warm rock. "Now, if only I could round up some tomato sauce," said Coyote, loud enough for all to hear. Well, Tortoise crept up to Coyote and said, "I saw a can a mile back by the picnic area. I don't know how you open it, but I'll get it if I can share your pizza." "Deal," said Coyote. "Meet back here at sunset." Now, fortunately, there were no cars in sight as Tortoise ambled across the highway to fetch that sauce. "You'll be lucky to get it by the next Tuesday at his speed," groaned Horned Toad. Well, Coyote ignored Horned Toad and continued fanning the flames. "I remember my old grandpappy made stone pizza with cheese and mushrooms," he said. "Too bad we don't have any of those." "Oh, well, I'd hate to give it up, but I've been saving a hunk of cheese for a special occasion," said Field Mouse. "And I ran across some mushrooms while I was out digging," said Armadillo. Horned Toad grumped, "Doesn't that sound delicious? Moldy cheese and dirty mushrooms." He was a bit of a grump. Well, Coyote agreed to share with Armadillo and Field Mouse too. So a few minutes later, they returned with the cheese and the mushrooms, and the hungry critters watched Coyote break the ingredients into tiny pieces and toss them on top of the dough. "Now, Grandpappy told me that in some parts, stone pizza tastes even better with peppers and onions," said Coyote. "Hey, there's a pepper garden a little ways from here," said Jackrabbit. "And I keep an onion in my burrow," said Skunk. We'll let you use those if we can share the pizza." "Pilfered peppers and smelly old onion from a skunk? Pew!" said Horned Toad. "Deal," said Coyote. So Jackrabbit bounded off into the brush as Skunk waddled off to her burrow, and when they returned, Coyote was setting about dicing the peppers and peeling the onions. And as the sunset burned bright and orange and faded into pink, Coyote kept the fire going. Everyone gathered around with their mouths watering. Everyone except Tortoise. Do you remember where he was? "I told you he'd never make it back in time," said Horned Toad. "Why, you couldn't open that can anyway." But just then, Coyote saw Tortoise by the side of the highway, rolling the can with his head. I don't even know if you can see that. It's so small. Coyote ran over to Tortoise and picked up the can. Good timing, Tortoise, said Coyote. And now for the big finish. And off on the horizon, a huge 18-wheeler was speeding down the highway in a cloud of dust. Coyote carried the can to the edge of the road. The critters waved their paws and yelled for him to stop. But Coyote gave the can a hard toss into the road. Great! Now we'll never get this pizza finished, said Horned Toad. Well, the truck got closer and closer and closer until splat! The animals opened their eyes and they saw Coyote grinning from the side of the highway. And he was covered with tomato sauce. Coyote picked up the squashed can of sauce and said, "Yep, there's just enough left in here for our stone pizza." So Coyote added the sauce to the pizza, and just as the dough browned and the cheese and the sauce bubbled, Horned Toad crawled out of the scrub brush. "Can I help you, partner?" asked Coyote. Horned Toad lowered his eyes and cleared his throat. I have something for the pizza too, if I can share." And he pulled out 2 big crickets. "Well, that's mighty nice, Toad, but why don't you save those for your slice?" said Coyote. Now, when that pizza was ready, Coyote gave a slice to each critter, and he even gave one to Horned Toad. And as they rubbed their bellies, all the critters thanked clever Coyote for showing them how to make stone pizza. "Some dessert sure would be good," said Coyote. "Oh, I bet we can use that stone to make prickly pear pie," said Horned Toad. And the other creatures, well, they looked at each other and they nodded. And Coyote smiled and said, "Toad, that just might work. Let's get cooking." Would you eat stone pizza? Sounded like it might be okay. Would you eat 5 hot dogs? I've got 5 little hot dogs that are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the one went bam. So no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the pan went bam. Well, our next story is called Chicks Run Wild. This is written by, oh, this is an interesting name, Sudipta, Bardhan-Quallen, and it's illustrated by Ward Jenkins. And it is published by Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers. Now every night, up in their beds, pillows fluffed by their heads, chicks are tucked beneath the sheets. Go to sleep now, Mama treats. Mama kisses each dear child. But when she leaves, well, those chicks run wild. First they wiggle, and then they jump, then they giggle, and then they thump, playing, swaying in pajamas when they hear their tired mama. Well, all at once, the noisy riot disappears, and shh, soon it's quiet. Mama peeks inside and sees her baby chicks, all catching Z's. But she catches feathers moving. Mama glowers disapproving. Then she sighs, please close your eyes. And then she says her last goodbyes. One more kiss for each dear child. But when she leaves, those chicks run wild. Why, they count 1, 2, 3, and 4, then do cartwheels on the floor. And when they somersault and leap, someone sees they're not asleep. Mama roars, you're all in trouble. Back in bed now on the double. Wings on hips, she warns those chicks. No more games and no more tricks. One quick peck for each sweet child. She slams the door and, oh dear, those chicks run wild. They begin a pillow fight in the middle of the night as the feathers fill the air. They see Mama standing there. Baby chicks, yells tired Mama. Look at all this chicken drama. I would like an explanation. Where is Mama's invitation? Mama's invitation? Well, the baffled chicks stare at each other. Should they dare invite their mother? Does she really want to play? Come on, join us, they all say. So Mama dances with each child in the night. They all go wild. And in a squall of fluffy feathers, all the fowls sashay together. Mama shows them how to prance and how to do the chicken dance. And when the chicks begin to yawn, Mama clucks, my dears, come on. But the chicks fall to their knees, moaning, bedtime, Mama, please. So Mama sees that they are weepy. Her sweet chicks are finally sleepy. So she puts away their things and holds her babies in her wings. Chicks get tucked into their beds, pillows fluffed beneath their heads, cuddling underneath their sheets. No more stirring, no more tweets. One last kiss for each dear child. She leaves the room, and Mama runs wild. Does that happen at your house? Did you ask your mama or your dad? You never know. Well, I think it's time to reach in your pocket and pull out your bubble gum and unwrap it, pop it in your mouth, and chew it up until it's all soft and squishy. Ready? Put out your hand. 1, 2, 3. Spit your gum in your hand and clap your hand on top. And we've got sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your chin. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your back. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your nose. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your cheek. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your arm. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your knee. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on Mom or Dad. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. It's time to throw it in the trash. Well, let's have our flannel board story. There once lived a wolf who loved to eat more than anything else in the whole world. And as soon as he finished one meal, he began to think about the next. Now, one day, that wolf had a terrible craving for chicken stew. All day long, he walked across the forest in search of a delicious chicken. And finally, he spotted one. Oh, she is perfect for my stew, he thought. And the wolf crept closer, and he was just about to grab her when he had another idea. He said, if there was just some way to fatten this bird up a little more, why then there would be more stew for me. So the wolf ran home to his kitchen, and he began to bake. I'm going to put her in her house. Well, first he made about, let's see here, 100 scrumptious pancakes. And then he left them right outside on the chicken's front porch. Eat well, my pretty chicken, he said. Get nice and fat for my stew. Well, then the next night, he brought a scrumptious pile of donuts. About 100 of them. And he left those on the porch, and he said, eat well, my pretty chicken. Get nice and fat for my stew. And the next night, he brought a scrumptious cake weighing about 100 pounds. And he said, eat well, my pretty chicken. Get nice and fat for my stew. Well, at last all was ready. He said, that chicken must be as fat as a balloon by now. So he got out a large stew pot, and he set out to get his dinner. I'm going to move that pot down here just a little bit because we don't need it quite yet. Well, as he peeked into the chicken's house, why, the door opened suddenly. And there was the chicken. And she screeched, oh, why, it was you, Mr. Wolf. Children, children, come and see. It wasn't Santa Claus who left all of that wonderful food. It was Mr. Wolf. He's the one that brought all these presents. And the baby chicks jumped all over Mr. Wolf. Oh, thank you, Uncle Wolf. You're the best cook in the world. Well, I have to tell you, Uncle Wolf didn't have chicken stew that night or any night after that. But Mrs. Chicken fixed him a nice dinner anyway. Aw, shucks, he thought as he walked on towards home. Maybe tomorrow I'll bake those critters 100 scrumptious cookies. And you know, that's just what he did. Did that make you hungry too? Well, we're just about finished here, so maybe you can have a snack before you go to bed, but that's up to Mom or Dad. And we're going to have our good night story from Sandra Boynton. This is Good Night, Good Night. And it's published by Little Simon. Well, the sun has set not long ago. Now everybody goes below. Do you see Bernard? That's him. To take a bath in one big tub with soap all over. Scrub, scrub, scrub. They hang their towels on the wall and find pajamas, big and small. And with some on top and some beneath, they brush and brush and brush their teeth. And when the moon is on the rise, why, they all go up to exercise. And down once more, but not so fast. They're on their way to bed at last. They climb into their feather bed, some at the foot and some at the head. And two little rabbits sing a song while everybody hums along. Maybe you can hum along. The hippos, big hippos, will dance in the mud. The piggies will follow them in. And down in the hollow will elephants wallow in mud that comes up to their chin. The cats and the bears, the lions and dogs, the rhinos and moose come along. Two rabbits, that's we two, will gladly agree to sing everyone's dream in a song. The day is done. They say goodnight. And somebody turns off the light. The moon is high. The sea is deep. And they rock and rock and rock to sleep. So those are our stories. Thank you for joining us for them. And we'll be back next week with some more bedtime stories from Wood Library. See you then.